Welcome back to the Triple Option. I'm Paul Catalina alongside today's co-host Chris Allman. We're going to do this with all of our co-hosts. Maybe anybody who comes on the show for longer than one segment. This is college football or not college football.
Okay.
Where we ask you, I'm going to ask you college football questions so people can kind of get where your college football heart is.
Okay.
And we're going to do this also when we get to basketball season because Chris is a huge basketball guy.
I like basketball.
Yes.
I like baseball.
What was this is not one of the questions.
Okay.
Last year, high school basketball points per game.
High school?
Yes.
Probably 8.
8 points per
But
game?
my last year of college was more.
Okay.
But it was a small college, and it was a junior varsity team.
Okay.
So
Last year of organized basketball points per game was
probably 21 or 22.
22 points per game.
Yes.
Okay, good deal.
Yes.
Where was that?
That was at the University of Mary Hardin Baylor.
Okay.
In 1998.
UMHB JV team.
Yes. We had a
22
junior
points.
varsity basketball team. We were
Okay.
very good.
There we go.
I'm happy to take you through the schedule if you'd like. The Southwestern Adventist game when I had 28 points. If anybody would like to go play-by-play, I'm happy to take you through that.
What kind of defense was Southwestern running?
Not much of one. I scored 28 points.
Yeah, okay.
So it was a sieve.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Were you raining threes or were you, what was it like?
I can't believe you're letting me talk about the 1998 UMHB
no.
JV basketball team.
I do.
Okay, so I played for Richard Herbst and David Norris at University of Mary Hardin Baylor in the late 90s, and it was a little bit ahead of its time, so we were up-tempo. So I played on a team that averaged about 105 points a game.
Okay.
So we would get it out of the net and go. So I scored a lot of layups because I was a two-guard. And then there's not quite as much three-point shooting in the late 90s. A lot of mid-range jumpers.
It was kind of like showboaty back then.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. My shorts went down just a hair below my knee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really a different time back then.
Yeah. I think we all do. Here's the thing, an issue that I would like to put out to the world. I think we all need to get together on what appropriate shorts lengths are for different parts of shorts.
Yeah, I actually have a strong opinion on this. So when you're ready to put that round table together,
I
just
do.
give me
I
a
think
call.
we need to get together on what's a basketball short? What's a swim trunk?
Yeah.
What is just your usual casual short?
Okay.
Those kind of things, what is the length that we can all agree on?
That'll be your noon to one show. The short show.
Yeah. All that. Okay, so here we go.
Okay.
Tailor-made for you, Chris.
Okay.
These are tailor-made for you.
Okay.
Okay, a college football venue you would most like to experience that you have not.
That I have not. Probably from all I've ever been told, something in the SEC, probably Ole Miss.
Okay.
Maybe as much for the venue.
Heading out to the Grove?
Yeah. I don't know, Death Valley. Is that better, Garrett? Does that make you feel better?
Yeah.
And then, I guess the Rose Bowl. I
Okay.
think it'd be pretty incredible to go to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
But
Are you a parade guy?
no, heavens
Okay,
no.
good.
Don't
Okay,
don't
just-
like to be in them. Don't like to go to them. Don't watch them on TV.
You know my feelings on parades.
No, but do tell.
They're well known throughout the world. They are decorated traffic, and that's all that they are.
They are decorated traffic. That's a
And
great point.
They are for children, and only children, unless you're in New Orleans. And then that's a whole different thing
Then
altogether.
they're not for children and absolutely no children.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, there's no reason, Norm Macdonald has a great bit about it, which
Had.
yes. he's everlasting to me, but yes. Norm's bit was about a different kind of parade, which I won't get into on this show. But he said that, when he was a kid, they after the moon landing, they had a ticker tape parade down Fifth Avenue in New York City, which that's a pretty big deal.
Sure, yeah.
Moon.
Yeah.
Halloween is not to me a parade thing.
I agree.
This event, it just to me, that's how I feel about it. I'm so glad to know.
Yeah.
And I've been very against, the only thing I don't like about the Rose Bowl is that their stupid parade has dictated many college football decisions over way too long. Until just recently, when the playoff, a bunch of people got in the room and said, listen, we don't care about your parade.
Yeah, it was time. It was time someone told him that.
Yeah.
I would like to just be dropped into the Rose Bowl. I don't want to travel out there. I don't want to deal with the mess around it. I want to be dropped in the Rose Bowl to watch Texas and SC in 2006, and then I'd like to be taken back out.
like a Mission Impossible type thing.
Yes, exactly.
Drop
Ethan
you right
Hunt.
in. Yeah.
Put me on some strings,
Right
lower
off
me in.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And then the Dark Knight where you throw up the buoy and the plane just grabs you.
Yes.
On the way out.
Yes.
Yeah. That'd be nice
Precisely.
for all
We're
of
on the
us.
same page.
All right. Chris is a huge Houston Astros fan.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
No apologies.
I've actually made an amendment to this question.
Okay, yeah.
Because it'll make you have to make a choice.
Okay, because you ran this one by me, and I think I answered it too quick.
Yeah. Okay. You are a firefighter, the last one who can go into the building before it's going to tumble down.
Okay.
There are 2 rooms with people in them
Okay.
that you have to save.
Okay.
Or you can save. But
Okay.
you're only really probably going to have time to save one.
All right. So I'm going to let someone burn.
You're probably,
Okay.
somebody's going to go.
Okay.
In one room is Craig Biggio.
Okay.
In the other room is the entire cast of the Ocean's 11 movies. All the movies.
Okay.
But that includes even the Ocean's 8 with Anne Hathaway.
Okay.
George Clooney. Julia Roberts. Elliot Gould.
Don Cheadle.
Poor Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
Matt Damon. And Jose Altuve is in there with him. Because he went across the hall to check on them.
Okay.
So Jose Altuve and the cast of all the Ocean's movies, which is like 50 people.
Sure, yeah.
Or Craig Biggio by himself, who was your childhood favorite player.
Yeah, I'm saving Jose Altuve.
You're saving Jose Altuve?
Yes. No disrespect to Bish.
Yeah.
But one of those guys brought 2 World Series to Houston. I love 3,000 hits. I love all the times Biggio got hit in his bionic elbow and the Major League record he set. But Jose Altuve is unequivocally the greatest athlete in Houston history. I'm going to save that man. The Ocean's 11 movies are fine. That's
Over
great.
Hakeem. He's over Hakeem.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Yes.
So, like, it's a benefit to George Clooney that he was in the room with Jose Altuve.
Yes.
So, let me ask you that question reversed. Jose goes in to check on Craig, and Craig goes, hey, I'd like to check on Brad Pitt. And he was like, okay, you stay, I'll stay here,
Yeah.
and you go.
Paul, I'm saving Jose Altuve.
Okay.
Any
So whatever
scenario
room-
you can craft that doesn't include my wife or children,
Yeah.
I'm saving Jose Altuve.
Okay. I understand that because if you ask me that same question about David Ortiz,
Sure.
that's what I'm going to do.
I think-
And David Ortiz came close to death. And I had the thought,
Does
if
he
he
need an organ?
needs anything, I will get tested.
I feel like Jose Altuve is not a big guy. I could maybe save a couple of them at one time.
Yeah.
Maybe pick up 2 of them.
Yeah.
So,
All right. What team that has not won a college football national title in the modern era? So, Texas A&M fits this bill.
Okay.
I know you're not going to say them because I've known
Sure.
you for a while.
Yeah.
But what team that has not won a college football title in the modern era, let's just say the 70s on,
okay.
that you would like to see win a title?
My beloved wife and all of my in-laws are going to want me to say the Baylor Bears, but I'm not going to say the Baylor Bears.
Okay.
I'm going to say the Houston Cougars.
Okay.
Because my father is a graduate of the University of Houston who was there at several Cotton Bowl games in the 70s, including one where they tanked against Joe Montana and Notre Dame. And then as a kid, Andre Ware was my favorite player growing up. And then I believe they were on probation from 1990 till about 2014. So
It felt like that, yeah.
Felt like some lean years there. So I'm going to say University of Houston.
Okay, good deal. And look, with coming into a power conference, they have the ability to build and maybe do that.
Yeah.
So,
And I'd like for them to do it in the Astrodome, if possible.
Oh, yeah, it would be nice. I don't know if they
think
can
that's
do that.
possible, but I'd like
I don't
for
think
them
they
to.
do that. They can look. I know that the title game's going to Houston. So,
At the Astrodome?
no.
Okay. Dang it.
Near it.
Near it.
It'll be very near it.
Real close.
Real close. People can park at the Astrodome and walk over, but very near it. Okay. What is the most embarrassing thing on your iPod/Spotify, whatever you use to listen to music, that you would, if I picked it up and said, hey, I'm going to hook in some music, can I use yours? And you'd say yes, but you would maybe go, oh, I hope he doesn't.
Okay. I'm not embarrassed by anything that's on, but
Okay.
I'll play radio here.
Okay, yeah.
I have a pop playlist I very specifically sought out some Jessica Simpson songs that I wanted to put on there, and a couple of Mandy Moore songs. So I'm not ashamed of it, but I'll play along and say, yes, I'm very embarrassed by my pop playlist.
Maybe not embarrassed, but you would have to explain that out.
Like
if
I just
someone,
did?
They did. Somebody would be like, why is, that's weird.
Yeah, if I were in this setting, it would be that. If I were with my church friends, it would be probably my Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre playlist, where I'd have to explain there was a time in my life where this is what I listened to, before I went and lit it up on the UMHB JV.
Yeah.
That's what I used to get hype. So
28 points.
28 points.
Came right after listening to Murder Was the Case of the
That's
Game.
exactly what I was about to say. I was about to make the exact same joke. God, this is chemistry right here.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Which college football program would you be comfortable with going 0-12 every year?
Texas A&M. And this is like, I have family that are Aggies.
Yeah.
but they are old Aggies.
Yeah.
Modern Aggie needs some 0-12s. They just need some 0-12s. They're Texas A&M. They need it. It's for their good.
Now let me ask you this: would it be worth it for them to win a national title just so that question is answered, and then the 0-12s could happen? So they finally can achieve being like for football wise, and maybe athletic department wise. Nobody's pumping more money into there and getting less results out of the major programs.
The return on investment is zero. It's minimal.
Look, track has won a national title. Gary Blair won one. Women's basketball, but football since 1939. Baseball seemingly is really close a lot of the time. Basketball could be way better than it is.
Yeah.
And they're always riding a wave.
Yeah.
But if they just won one football title and then went to the 0-12s, it would be worth it, so they would at least know that they could, as opposed to this perpetual, what are we missing? Like, what's the missing ingredient conversation that goes around Texas A&M?
No, for me, I think I'd like for them to just go straight to the 0-12. Because I think, as an Astros fan, I think people want to, like, scoreboard me about the sign stealing thing and how we're cheaters, and I don't care. We won a world championship. Like, you can call me whatever you want.
Well, look, they won the second one after all that, so that, like...
So, no, I just think modern day...
more or less the same team.
No, modern day Aggie, if they get their natty, that's all they're going to point at. They're not going to care about the 0-12s. So I need the 0-12s to hurt. Does that make sense? Is that fair?
Look, honestly, I think it would have done Texas some good.
Well, they would be my number 2 on my list.
Yeah, they would, like, I just think it would... I think their fans are maybe there now when they realize that they're about to go to a new conference.
Yeah.
And they haven't won the old one in almost 15 years.
Been a long time.
So they're like, okay, there's been enough coaches between Mac Brown and now that maybe you just get to walk into Austin and win.
Yeah.
Like, there are some things. I don't know if A&M and the Cowboys in Texas all kind of live in the same thing. They're not bad enough to really assess what they're missing.
Yeah. Who's the program you want to go 0-12?
Oh,
you have one?
Florida.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
good point. I forgot I was talking to a Noel.
Florida.
I guess but it could have been Clemson. Could have been Miami.
Look, it would not. Yeah. I mean, like, if I had to trade out one or the other, like if they told me, look, Florida can never go 0-12, but Florida State will win national championships every 5 to 9 years, I'd be like, well, whatever. I mean, what do I have to do?
Okay.
Who do you need me to make some things go away for? Like, I'll.
Okay. Well, apologies to my Aggie family.
No, but
there are a lot of them. But
apologies to mine that are be watching this and like, how could you let this?
Apologies to the Catalinas.
Yeah. No. Sorry. So, all right. All right, well, that's enough for now. We're going to do this again on Wednesday. But just so you know, I only asked you 2 piercing questions about your personality, which the music one, you weren't even embarrassed at all. So
No, but now I'm going to go get in the car and I'm going to look it over. And if I need to revise on Wednesday, I'll revise.
Yeah, on Wednesday, I might ask you if you were at the Eras Tour, which era would you dress up as? Like, that might be something.
Wait, is that why that's called the Eras Tour?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have any Taylor Swift.
That. Okay, well, then you probably wouldn't even go.
Okay.
Yeah. Save your money and
tough
your patience
ticket.
on Ticketmaster. All right, now back to the overall discussion at hand of college football, which is why we're here on the Triple Option. This season's going to be kind of interesting in that there are some really good teams that are all breaking in new quarterbacks, like Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, all breaking in new quarterbacks. Most people think those are kind of penciled-in playoff teams. Michigan, not breaking in a new quarterback. Clemson kind of is with Cade Klubnik, although he played, especially in the bowl game, he played a lot last year. Florida State on the rise with a returning quarterback in Jordan Travis. Bo Nix at Oregon, there's returning quarterbacks. How do you feel about teams that are contending for the playoffs, especially Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State will all be breaking in new quarterbacks this year. And teams like Michigan, who have J.J. McCarthy, and maybe the best lines all around that are maybe hit the ground running a little bit better.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you sold me on Michigan Friday. That was I believe in your 5.
Yeah.
You sold me on Michigan because, yes, it was Blake Corum. Yes, it was J.J. McCarthy. But you talked about having the best offensive and defensive lines, arguably, in the country.
Yeah.
And not being I never played football, but everyone tells you that winning starts up front, no matter what kind of offense you're running. And so if you're strong in the trenches, you're going to be good. And they were a hair away from getting there last year. And so, I think you can really think all that wild outside the box when it comes to the playoff, right? Like, nobody was sitting here saying last year, I think TCU is going to make a run at this thing. So I'm going to stay very conventional. I'm going to say probably Michigan. If I had to actually pick an outside the box team that I thought had a shot, I might say Clemson, just because again, Dabo is a little bit of a character sometimes, but I think he's a good coach. I think it's a good program. And so, Michigan's my, if I had to put money on something, I'd probably say Michigan. And my outside the box that's not at all outside the box would probably be Clemson.
Yeah. Clemson hiring Garrett Riley is a really interesting thing because Dabo has only gone outside the family one other time, and that was Brent Venables. Yeah. And that worked out really, really well for him.
Really well.
And so otherwise, Dabo likes people who are Clemson homegrowns and people on his staff that he grows up. And look, there's no wrong way to do it. Right. There's what works and what didn't work.
Right.
And so the coaches that are more successful over the long period of time figure out what doesn't work quickly and move on from it.
Yeah.
It's a strength that I think Dave Aranda is building at Baylor because he's not going to try and expend any mental energy on this thing I thought was going to work, didn't work. Let me try to figure out why it did. If I figure out why it did, and if I can't fix that, then I'm just going to move on.
Yeah.
Dabo's not really been like that, but part of that's just been because everything worked up until certain points.
He hasn't had to.
He hasn't had to. But it does. It has changed my opinion of him going forward. And that if he's going to go hire Garrett Riley, which may only be for a year, honestly, if they win the ACC this year, Garrett Riley's going to get a head coaching job. If they're in the playoff, Garrett Riley's getting a head coaching job. Those kind of things are going to happen. But for 1 year to maybe win that title again and put your stamp on it before the college football world completely reshuffles itself in a year and you don't really know what the future holds, it makes me think that Dabo has hidden depths.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think he's ever been, not that he's ever been disrespected, but not really ever been given credit with his ability to make the necessary changes because he hasn't had to. And so I think if he does, I think he has now. And in my opinion, very likely it's going to pay off in a playoff berth. But again, the ACC's no cakewalk.
Look, if you ask me right now to pick who the ACC champion is going to be, and as you know, I bleed garnet and gold.
Sure.
I would still say Clemson because Mike Norvell hasn't proved to me that he can beat them.
Right.
Hadn't beaten them yet. Now, last year they actually made headway in that, and they fell behind really big and then closed the gap and had one more series. Maybe that game goes into overtime, but that's not what happened.
Right.
They didn't win that game. So we'll see, how that goes moving forward. But I think Clemson could be a really interesting team.
Yeah.
Because if Cade Klubnik and Garrett Riley are really this match made in heaven, the defense will be what the Clemson defense usually is. Yeah. Maybe even better than it was last year because they've got some really good players along the D-line.
Yeah.
That could be a really tough team to beat. And look, they and Florida State could split. It just depends on when that split is, who wins the second game if they play again in the ACC title game.
I know it's a conversation of opinions here, but is Utah a candidate to fill that outside the box?
I think so. I think if Cam Rising gets back and plays like Cam Rising can play, then I think so. If not, then they might lose a couple games early that would keep them out of it because we're only still talking about 4 teams here.
And Utah's not a team that can lose one and claw back in it, theoretically.
No,
they don't really have that cachet.
No, because somebody's going to find a reason.
Right.
Even though they might be tougher than nails and all that. If they lose either of the first two to Florida and Baylor, right? Then that's going to be in the committee's mind all year long.
Yep.
So,
all
right, we'll take a break right here, our last break of the show. When we come back, we're going to talk about conference realignment right now, where it stands, and we'll also give an honest review of Swamp Kings, an absolutely mediocre documentary, which that's a little preview right there.
There you go. There was your review.
We'll get into it. This is the Triple Option on 365 Sports.